Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. Tom and I are here with you. We've got plenty to talk about. SummerSlam was this past weekend. The Ruler overcame the Beast. We've got some new little wrinkles in the fabric that is the WWE title landscape, both men's and women's. Plenty of new and fun fallout on Monday Night Raw. Can't wait to get into it. We'll catch you on the other side.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
That's two. That's too many. It's one. One fall.
What up, dude?
Oh, hanging out. We got lightninged out at outdoor basketball today. So that was fun. Getting solar panels. So that's exciting fun. Too. They're gonna tear those trees out that have been threatening to fall into my house for, I don't know, a decade, probably 30 years before that too. So that's exciting. My thumb's still on, so that's good.
Well, that's really good. That's really good. The old SummerSlam witch, or the old summer, Slam witch, tried the best of you on Saturday.
It really did.
Pulled out the old prison shoe.
What was funny was actually
the fact that we sat there and I don't know what's worse, the fact that we sat there and ate the SummerSlam witch while you bled all over yourself and nobody knew. Or the fact that you ruined brand new white carpet.
First of all, I didn't ruin it. Second of all, it was beige, okay? Third of all, it was funny because Ashley said, be careful, that knife's sharp, as I was cutting myself with it. The exact same moment, I'm going, oh no. And anyway, it was still a good sandwich. I didn't get blood on the sandwich, at least.
Yeah, it was a great sandwich. Great sandwich. Great sandwich. So, in case y'all didn't pick up, Tom and I had the lovely privilege of enjoying Saturday Night SummerSlam together. Although him and our buddy watched it without me, pretty much. I showed up in the main event.
Right before the main event. It was
the
Punk and Cody.
Event, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the co-main event. And then we watched the entirety of that, and then watched the main event, and then rewound so that I could watch the rest of SummerSlam Saturday in little compartments. And that was kind of how we just did our business on that particular day. So it worked out really well. I thought, what'd you think about the weekend, man?
So, can I say that I thought SummerSlam was a lot more well laid out than WrestleMania was? So WrestleMania being the last 2-day WWE pay-per-view that we've had the privilege of watching. I will also note that when WrestleMania fell through because the weather was shit and we couldn't watch on my deck, SummerSlam also fell through because the weather was also shit and we couldn't watch WrestleMania. We couldn't watch SummerSlam on my deck. It was just rain this time as opposed to. Did it snow for WrestleMania? I can't remember if it snowed or not.
Snow.
Yeah, it snowed. Anyway, so apparently I'm not allowed to watch wrestling on the deck because I've still not watched wrestling on the deck. I tried to force a little bit of backlash, but I think I got about an hour in before it started spitting rain and I had to run everything inside. I thought it was overall a pretty good weekend. I thought it was pretty balanced. There's obviously criticisms to be had of certain things, and and I think that we'll get there.
For sure.
But I thought that overall the build was really good. I thought there was a lot of fan service played, not just like main event service. You know what I mean? Like marquee celebrity type bullshit. It was very like fan servicey in a lot of ways, particularly Sunday. And I think that it really sort of sets up kind of the sunsetting, what we've talked about for a long time, the sunsetting of sort of the current stars and sort of the the emergence of new stars. I think that people have some thoughts and some sadness about that along the way. But like this is just what has to happen. You can't continue to have the same four guys be main eventers indefinitely. Like you have to get some new blood in there, and I think that's what this is. So but I'm sure we could talk. I will that sort of sets the stage and lays the theme for the opinions I'm going to have for the remainder of the evening.
Yeah, and I think you and I were able to kind of talk about some of that stuff, throughout the night, which was great. We were kind of able to bounce some things off of one another, and I mean we texted a little bit on Sunday, not too much. I think we were both gearing up to watch to do the show on Monday, but work came through in the ninth inning and decided that that was not to be. And I still haven't even watched Raw. I do know what happened. I do have opinions on the things that have happened on Monday Night Raw, and I think that there are certain pieces of the puzzle that are interesting moving forward. On that, but I would like to just go ahead and jump right into night one here. We kicked off the show with LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys versus the Usos, and Jacob Fatu, the Bloodline. With LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys picking up the win. What felt like a throwaway match, from its inception, actually was not a bad little piece of business.
Way better than I expect. Like you're right. Totally coming out of the gate, I'm like, this is bullshit just to get these six guys on the card, right? That's all this was. And couple that with it being sort of the Gears of War sponsored match and everybody coming out in Gears of War gear. Truthfully, by the time the match started and when it was over, I was like, I didn't hate any of that at all. Honestly, it felt like I feel like everybody's kind of thought like, oh God, Jacob Fatu and or Jay Uso are being shoved down our throats. We don't want this. We don't want, but this all made sense in the whole, scope of the stories that are going on right now, especially the stuff on SmackDown with Royce Keys and LA Knight. Well, LA Knight's on Raw, but like with all of what's going on, and I think this is a good way to sort of get Royce Keys into a sort of like big player picture. I don't know that he's a main event guy, but he's certainly being positioned to be sort of a big player in the same way LA Knight is, in the same way Jacob Fatu is, and I think that all of those guys going into this come out looking better. I think the Usos and Jacob could absorb that loss a lot better than those other three guys could, and I think those other three guys coming out looking strong was the right call. I think the fans were in agreement with that too. Like they didn't know. I saw no hate for that match, which for a Jey Uso match, I feel like is rare. So no hate coming out of that, and
Solo running it back. Solo running it back in the middle of the match, I thought was
babyface.
Solo Sikoa as a babyface.
Yeah, babyface Solo is great. Babyface Solo is like, let's fucking go.
Top tier, and I'm here for that and what that's going to bring. Side note, with Solo Sikoa, how about the return of Haku on SmackDown on Friday night?
That was
seemingly to manage the boys, huh?
The Sons of Haku, and the only thing I will say about that made me upset is that they continued to refer to them as the MFTs. It doesn't make sense. Like, let them be the Sons of Haku, and like, let's roll with that. Like, don't like. First of all, the MFTs never made sense because it's my family tree. The my family trees doesn't make sense. The MF, I know Triple H loves his anagrams, the OTC, all that shit. I know he loves it, but like,
Well, I think
let's just go.
that's the Vince McMahon in him, right? Like Vince very into into his oh, what the fuck, his enunciations and what the hell, I know what I'm trying to say. Big smart word that is in my vocabulary, but I'm drawing a blank. Whenever you have two, like Solo Sokoa, both starts with an S.
Yeah,
Uh, what the fuck? You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I get it. It's something that rolls off the tongue, and that's really what he's looking for. The MFTs, I understand, but it's nonsense, right? It's total, not like the OTC is nonsense. Um,
Yeah, it's TNA, total nonsense action.
exactly. But hopefully we're transitioning to them being referred to as the sons of Haku, and that you're supposed to understand that the MFTs are the sons of Haku. Haku coming out with the cane and just looking the reverence that Haku was shown there too, I think was really a big deal. Like it he comes out on Friday and I go, "Oh my god." And like it was like one of those just moments of like that, there's no way they did this. And Haku just walks out, "You are my sons." And it's like, "Oh, oh shit. This is what's happening? What's going on?" And then they replayed it during the pre-show, but like with people's reactions to it, just masterfully done. Again, my criticism is going to be let's just refer to them as the sons of Haku moving forward, and I think that's what they're going to do. And they're going to have Haku there, and maybe they'll be the sons or whatever. But if they can keep that, like they need to be tag team champs. They can be that can be a good run for those two guys in WWE. I think that Tala Tonga is a dumb name because he's tall and a Tongan, but okay, fine. Tamatonga, obviously, long lineage of being a good bad guy, and in New Japan and stuff. He was sort of like one of the last New Japan stars. Um, I think that his lineage is fine. I think adding Haku to that is really like it really adds a credence, and it's going to make these guys seem super dangerous, kind of like it did when they first arrived. I think
Yes.
that Tamatonga has looked weak for a long time, which is weird for him because the dude's always been booked strong and always looked strong, especially with the face paint stuff. And since he's come back, I think they've been very careful. Talatonga's been booked as a big man. Triple H seems to be okay into big men now, and he kind of knows what to do with them. And I know we'll get into that in a little bit.
We
So
certainly
I'm
will.
excited to see where this goes because while those guys aren't necessarily spring chickens, they're in their mid 30s now, and I think have a good 4-ish year run in them to kind of bolster not only the mid card but the tag division and kind of do a tag division in a WWE kind of way. You know what I mean? Where it's like WWE tag division has always sort of been about like big like Demolition or like the not the Road Warriors, but they were Legion of Doom in WWE. Big guys that are just there to kind of smash each other. And I think that that's kind of what this is a harken back to. And I think it's probably going to be at the expense of the War Raiders, but I'm
I
here
mean,
for it.
it is what it is. I mean, I think that I was listening to Busted Open After Dark from Friday
On
tonight.
Sirius XM because those guys
Yeah,
are all serious guys now.
you know, it was Justin Labar, and he was talking about the Tongans and Haku, and how it creates like immediate buzz around those guys, right? And it really puts them into a spot where you can build the WWE Tag Team division. And he was talking about how he was pissed off about the finish of Damian Priest and R-Truth versus the War Raiders, and then he was like, this makes sense now. Because the finish was dumb. They'd been building this for a couple of weeks between these two teams, and then old Chucky Rob gets in the way and gets a double shove and just like, yeah, we're throwing this bitch out. And then here come the Tongans and they mop up, the two of the three sets of tag champions, and I think that it really did put the Tongans in a place where they are instantly credible and they are instantly a big deal, especially to our generation of fan, who remembers Haku, who remembers Meng, Ming, Meng, whatever,
Meng, that's
when
Meng is right. You said it right the first time.
whenever he was in WCW, and it lends a certain piece of credibility to them, and I'm really excited to see what they do with the Tongans moving forward. And it seems like they are probably going to get strapped to the tag team rocket, and probably get some gold on them sooner rather than later. But circling back to SummerSlam, this match was serviceable. I think it was a great way to start the weekend. You had some.
Well, it wasn't the first match. It was.
I thought it was.
No. So weirdly enough, this because we circled. You're right, because we circled back to this. This was actually the second match, because the first match was Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. They kicked it off. They started.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because watched night one. I watched night one out of order.
Yeah, they started hot with that. So we can.
I'm gonna tell you what, they couldn't have gotten any worse than they did it with their Queen of the Ring final match, because I think that was a piece of hot garbage.
This was an infinitely better match.
Yeah, and it still wasn't great. But like it was, they did start off hot, and I think that those two women really put it all out there. But I just their chemistry together, it's just not there. Liv Morgan obviously retains.
Right. So I thought the final sequence was really. I thought that this was the best final sequence they could have had between the two of them. And there was a lot of reversals. Io flipped out of the Oblivion the first time, which I thought looked really good and was kind of cool. But I think I think Liv retaining works, because I think just slapping the title back on Io just reeks of sort of like lazy booking. And I think I'd rather see Io sort of shift over to SmackDown or something else. I want to see Io do something else, especially after
but
what
the problem
happened.
with that is we just got her away from Rhea Ripley, and and we'll get into that here a little bit later on. We just got her away from Rhea Ripley. It's really hard to shift her over to SmackDown, and then
Rhea's hurt.
Right, for right now, but I mean, eventually the outcome of that ladder match is going to run. That road is going to run through Rhea Ripley. So we've got to remember that part. But regardless, much better match than they had at the Queen of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring final. It didn't feel so static and so robotic. It felt a little bit more organic. It moved a little bit more fluidly. They still had some rough patches, but like I said, I don't think that their in-ring chemistry together is the greatest. But it was, like you said, infinitely better than their Queen of the Ring match. I think Liv winning and retaining is the right call. And obviously, on Monday Night Raw, we saw the fallout. Becky Lynch returned, and she stuck her nose right in Liv's face and said, "Hey, I didn't come for that. I'm here for you, sweetheart." Talking about the IC title, and Liv kind of playing that chicken shit heel a little bit. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's interesting, and had Stephanie Vaquer not shown up as well, I feel like that would have been a weird way to end the segment. I do think the problem with Liv and Io is that I don't think either of them are strong enough to throw the other one around in a way. They both seem to do better with opponents who are a little bit bigger than them and a little stronger than them, and able to throw the other opponent into a way that the other can sort of like do a flip or a bounce out of. And I feel like that they don't produce enough momentum for the other opponent. Their styles are too clashy, and I agree with what you said wholeheartedly. And I purely think that it's a matter of like they're both about the same size and have about the same strength, and they generally rely on whomever they're wrestling against to be strong enough to just huck them, give them a little bit of extra momentum. And I think without that extra momentum, they're sort of missing a big piece of their toolkit. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. But overall, I thought it was a solid effort. Again, Liv retaining was the right choice. Really interested to see. I think we're probably going to see um, Becky and Stephanie before we see Becky and Liv. But I feel like all roads lead to that and or a triple threat between the three of them. But I'm here for it. And it was good to see Becky back, we all know that I'm a sucker for Becky Lynch, and she can do no wrong in my eyes because it's always a good thing when the man comes back around.
And as a babyface this time, it's very clearly a babyface.
Very clearly a babyface. If she could play that like tweener, the tweener man, I'm here for it. Um, Moving on, the worst match of the weekend, um, the absolute gum on the bottom of my shoe. Um, we had Fatal Influence versus Paige and the Payday Twins. And apparently, Brie Bella went into that match with a pretty badly injured shoulder. And they kind of really protected her throughout that whole thing and kind of kept her out of it. I think they did a really good job of keeping Brie as non-existent as they could, to kind of cover the injury and make sure that it wasn't one of those things, that Brie could have gotten even more hurt than she already was. I mean, obviously this Bella Twins reunion is snake bitten. Nikki misses the WrestleMania win, and they just staple Paige over the over the piece of paper, and we're not changing a thing. We've got Paige, right? And it didn't feel right. It never looked right. That title reign went on far too long. Obviously, Fatal Influence gets the win, pinning Paige, and then the Payday Twins attack Paige, and mercifully, Paige is now a singles competitor, and I'm sure she's going to have some sort of blowout with Nikki Bella, especially with Brie hurt. That's going to kind of separate her from them, and then maybe we can get into some Paige that we're looking for, that we were hopeful for when we heard the rumors that she had re-signed.
It was you're right. This was the worst match of the night. It really felt like Fatal Influence was they really
right. It was the worst match of the weekend.
Sure. The Fatal Influence was having a match by themselves for the most part. It was them versus Paige. Nikki looked lost the entire time. Brie obviously was non-existent in the match, so it was really 3-on-2. Fatal Influence, I thought, did the best that they could with basically sandbags for the most part. I mean, I feel like Nikki is almost. It seems almost impossible for somebody to get a good match out of Nikki Bella at this point in her career. And not that Brie is any better, she's not. Paige did her best, but Paige was never a oh my god, guys, I can put this on my shoulders. Let's go. This was bad. Fatal Influence, I didn't think looked terrible at all. I thought they looked fine. They got the win. I thought the other team looked pretty bad. Paige being attacked after the bell was really her only saving grace. Otherwise, we'd be talking about how bad Paige was. But it was almost a mercy kill at this point. Like, it was almost, oh, thank God. Like, when they attacked her, when it happened live, Adam and I both go, oh, thank God. It was not a like, it was, oh, thank God this is over kind of a thing. I'm going to point out, too, far too often with the women's division, when they're best friends on camera, they hold each other and hug each other way too much. And this has been a problem for at least the last 5 years because Liv and Rhea did it. Rhea and Io did it. They're anybody who are kind of like Charlotte and Charlotte and the I don't want to say the name because it'll come on, but Little Miss Bliss. They kind of hugged too much, not as bad as the other, but like there was still too much hugging going on. So like we need to WWE needs to get away from this like, oh, the women that are best friends might also sleep together and cuddle. You know what I mean? Like we need to get away from that.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with you, especially when we're talking about like some of this top tier world class talent that they have. Like Io and Rhea.
Yeah. Fucking stop
just,
it.
Yeah, it's strange, but I don't want to spend any more time on that than I have to.
Okay, we could be done.
Yeah, moving on. We had Gunther versus Nick Aldis in what was the culmination of a storyline that has gone on since WrestleMania, when
kind
Gunther
of a little
came,
before.
Yeah, I thought Gunther came to SmackDown after WrestleMania.
I mean, they sort of started picking at each other. He came right before, and they sort of started picking at each other right away.
Okay, so I mean, that's neither here nor there. But the culmination of that storytelling, with Nick Aldis making his WWE in-ring return. You and I talked extensively about this on Saturday, because I got there late and I said, "Hey man, how was Aldis and Gunther?" That was the first question I asked you when I saw you on Saturday, and you were like, "Oh, it was so good." Um,
was good.
It was very good. It was very, very good. So we were talking whenever I was watching it for the first time and you were watching it for the second time. I listened to CVV Chris Van Vliet did a interview with Nick Aldis prior to that match, because they both live in Nashville now, and Nick Aldis was talking about how he had kind of stopped worrying about what his body and his physique looked like, and he really focused on his conditioning. And because there's no shape like ring shape, and post match, the fallout from all of that. One of the things was he was like, "Man, I was in there like 5 minutes and I was just blown up." He said, "There's no substitute for being in this ring and doing this day in and day out, week in and week out." He's like, "I put myself through some of the most aggressive and grueling strength and conditioning and cardio training that I had ever done in my entire life to prepare for this match. And within 5 minutes, I was just absolutely exhausted." You could tell a little bit that he was blown up, but I think that him and Gunther did a very, very good job of navigating that. And you couldn't tell like to the extent that Nikki Bella was blown up and could barely pull herself to the fucking corner to make a tag. Nick hung in there and he had some big time spots. And I thought those guys absolutely delivered on a storyline that had been very, very well told. Super pumped for Nick Aldis to have gotten that opportunity to compete inside the WWE ring, and Gunther was absolutely the right person for him to have that match with.
I mean, I feel like Gunther's never had a bad match in WWE to date. Like, how many people have pulled a great match out of Bill Goldberg? One, it was Gunther. That's it. One guy. Honestly, I thought the first 5 minutes of the match were probably the worst 5 minutes of the match. I felt like once Nick kind of like lost his breath and kind of slowed down a little bit, it got a lot better. And yeah, sure, he was sucking wind, and I'm sure it felt terrible. I'm sure his lungs were on fire. But once his instincts took over, and like his mind, his brain didn't have the air to overthink it anymore, I thought the match flowed a lot better. And clearly, that's about where Gunther took over, and it got pretty technical. A lot of holds, a lot of but there were some spots, and I felt like they really. I don't want to say it overshot my expectations because I had pretty high expectations for the match, but it did not disappoint me. in any stretch of the imagination, and the fans were hot for it the whole time too, which I
Yes, they
think
were.
which is obviously what you want. Like, it doesn't fucking matter if you put on a 5-star classic or whatever. Are the fans into it? Because if the fans are into it, that's really what it's about. And the fans were into it. They were probably more into it than just about any other match.
I
Off that.
agree, especially on night one. I'd say that it was up there. I mean, obviously the main event and the co-main event had a lot of allure going into it, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Um, but the whole thing surrounding Nick Aldis, I thought was very deserving. Um, I know we're both super hyped about the abilities or the prospect of what this match would be, and I think that you know I think they got what 10 or 12 minutes, and in that ten
Something
or
like
twelve
that,
minutes, I
yeah.
think they told a really good story for what it was. Obviously Gunther gets the win. Um, Mickey James and Nick Aldis' son come into the ring afterwards. It was a great moment for them. And then after the show, Nick Aldis gets reinstated as the SmackDown GM.
Which I thought was cool because he had a big moment on night 2 as well.
He did, and we will get to that momentarily. Um, which I think was probably the right decision because we weren't sure what it was going to be, and while I think that I would have been okay getting a couple more Nick Aldis matches, and maybe, but there's really just no place in the current landscape. Um, but at the fit in very very well. Um, they told a great story. Gunther was the right opponent, um, and if this was a debut and a retirement and the career killer put another notch on his belt, I think that this is probably one of the better notches that he could have on his belt from an insider perspective, because of the cachet that Nick Aldis does carry and does have. So, really excited that Nick got the opportunity to do this, and I thought that they put out a pretty good effort.
So I wouldn't hate to see them use Nick Aldis sparingly like they did Kurt Angle during his sort of like run like this. Not particularly often, but if they use him once or twice a year, or even once every other year, for the next couple of years, I would not be disappointed in the slightest. I think this is the best way to introduce him, and then figure out what fits for moving forward. If that's what they want to do, if that was what he wants to do. But I think after this, there's certainly ways to find spots to fit him in, whether it's
Yeah.
tag matches or whatever, just to kind of be a present, guy who gets in the ring every now and then. Because I feel like guys like him get the itch. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. And I feel like he's gonna want and or need to have a WrestleMania match for him to feel whole, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the benchmark for a lot of professional wrestlers is to you know main event WrestleMania, but for a lot of folks, just being on a WrestleMania card, I think it is one of those things that you kind of hang your hat on as a wrestler. So, maybe that's something we see, you know, in 8 months time, come WrestleMania in Saudi. So we'll just have to keep. But overall, pretty good effort. Pretty satisfied with that. Moving on, we had the WWE Undisputed Championship match between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Um, Cody came
I
out
thought
with
this
the
sucked.
Guile gear, the Guile helmet.
Yeah, I thought this match sucked, but the Guile
Wasn't
helmet
very
was
good.
cool. The Guile helmet was great. Did Punk shit himself? Do we know about this yet?
I
I thought
don't
this match
know.
sucked.
Nobody's touching that. It's all over the internet, but nobody's touching it. Um, yeah, it wasn't very good. It wasn't very
This
good.
this was a dog shit match. It was good to
I
not
mean,
be the
what
main
we
event.
that crossroads at the end. What was it?
What was all of
That
that?
wasn't
Punk
on
had
Phil. That was on Cody.
No, yeah, but there was a moonsault on Phil that looked like shit. Like this match looked, they both looked like they didn't. This was their first time wrestling. Like, what the fuck was this? I don't know if it was jitters or what, but these guys are like touted to be like some of the best ticket sellers of like the last 50 years, and fucking this is what they put out. Like, I didn't have high expectations because I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan. I'm not the biggest Cody Rhodes fan. This match sort of solidified my like, oh, these guys are way fucking overrated kind of a thing. I realize CM Punk's on kind of his retirement tour right now. But like this was bullshit. Like, if you're CM Punk, this is bullshit. If you're Cody Rhodes, this is bullshit. You both need to do better than this. And this is me speaking purely as a wrestling fan who wants you to do better. This match sucked. You built it. It was built out of nothing. It was babyface versus babyface. They both needed to go in there and put on a match that shut us all the fuck up, because the rest of it made no sense. And they went out there and shit the bed is exactly what happened. They went out there. They had bad ideas. They executed those bad ideas poorly. Thank God that the Bellas had a worse match than you, because otherwise this is the second worst match on the entire WrestleMania card. This fucking almost stunk out the joint. The crowd was dead for it. Like, they were hyped at the beginning when Cody came out with the mask and the whole whoa, like that was all, like, they were hyped for that shit. But like, these guys then just go out there and shit the bed. And you know, maybe CM Punk had ate some diarrhea lettuce. Maybe that's what happened.
Shit their pants.
Maybe he possibly shit his pants. Maybe that was the problem. Shit happens, literally. But fucking, I don't know, man. Take some anti-diarrhea medicine. I don't know what to say other than like, this was like kind of fucking garbage. And the fact that these two guys went out there and put on this match, this would have been a bad match on Raw. This would have been a bad match on SmackDown. This was a bad match on SummerSlam, the second to last match on the card. After they followed Gunther and Nick Aldis, who Nick Aldis hasn't been in a ring in 4 years. What the fuck was this? This was like, I know this is where you showed up and I cut my finger, but like, watching this match while trying not to bleed out, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. Like, that match pissed me off for it, because I expected nothing out of the Bellas and Paige, right? Expected absolutely nothing. Fatal Influence was there as almost sacrificial. This was like, they touted this. This was this didn't make sense even going into it, why it was there. This was purely put on the card because TKO stuck their dick in the soup, and then fucking they then shit in the soup. Like, this is what happened. Like, they both shit in the soup. Like, you can't expect anything out of the Bella Twins at this point. But then both Cody and Punk shit in the soup because neither of them looked good. Can neither of them actually carry a match? Because that's what it looks like.
It wasn't good. It was not good at all. I'm sorry. There's a storm blowing through, and like, my power keeps flickering, and I'm just waiting for this bitch to just shut down.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama. We had that storm. It was okay here. But I also found out that my electricity bill was like 4 times you guys's. So it was another fun thing to find out in my visit to ye old Morgantown. Anywho, moving on to the main event, because I think I've shit on this match enough, more than Punk probably shit on it. In it. He shit in it because he was in the match.
We didn't talk about the return of Randy Orton, though.
Oh, right. I almost forgot. This match was so bad that Randy Orton half-ass saved it at the end by showing up and RKO and Cody Thank God somebody that can wrestle might fight Cody, because Cody can't wrestle by himself.
Yeah. So Randy Orton shows up after being injured or taking time off, and I mean, I think that his back was still not at 100%. Comes out, RKO's Cody Rhodes, cost Cody the match. I'm sure that's going to be a prevalent talking point on Friday night when we approach SmackDown. On the fallout from SummerSlam for SmackDown. But Randy Orton seemingly back, and really looking forward to where that goes. Maybe we'll finally get our heel turn Cody. Yeah. So that's about it on that match, because again, that match was not great. But it still was better than the Payday Twins and Paige taking on Fatal Influence. So moving on to the main event, the Hell in the Cell, the match that had the most build, the most fan support, and quite honestly, the biggest to let us all down.
It was fine. It wasn't a Hell in the Cell. That why was the cell there? The cell did not need to be there. This could have been a street fight. It would have been fine. There was no reason for there to be a cell.
They used the cell once.
They kind of used the cell once. They like propped the table in the corner, but like nobody hit the cell. Nobody was thrown into the cell. Nobody used the cell as a weapon. Like the match the match itself was perfectly fine. It was just a cell around a street fight.
Yeah, I mean, Hell in the Cell was it was a background character in this whole story.
It wasn't even a player. It didn't even play. They just kind of were like, all right, we're gonna be in the cell. We're gonna have a good time. We're playing. They were like playing in a playpen, basically. Like either the match itself was great. Honestly, I thought it was really good. But like we talked about this a week ago, it was like, okay, first of all, nobody's falling off this cell. Nobody's going through the cell. Nobody nothing's happening. Nobody's hitting somebody with a tool belt, with a toolbox, busting anybody open and getting them staples in the middle of the ring. None of that's happening. This is going to be two protected guys getting not beat up in a Hell in a Cell. Brock was in good enough spirits and healthy enough to wander back in and sort of declare that he was the past and Obafemi was the future, and
promptly retired on Monday afternoon on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, so like this was like, I liked it as a trilogy, but like I think WWE wanted this to be something, and like they obviously built it to be something more. And Brock was definitely done before this, right? Like Brock was definitely done. Oba Brock won when Oba beat him the first time. Brock was definitely done, right? Yep. Brock wanted to be done, and WWE was like,
TKO said, "Hey Brock, here's like $7 million. We gotta cash in on this big guy.
Can we do 2 more? You don't even have to work that hard." And that's, I mean, to Brock's credit, look, I don't know that I would have not taken $7 million to show up 4 or 5 times. It was definitely.
Listen, I don't know if that's the number. I'm just
saying. Let's say it was $7 million. Brock showed up less than 7 times. It was more than $1 million a return. Plus, I'm sure they paid for him to show up, and it was great. I love Brock. Why? Like, can we they? Why was it Hell in Cell? Like, I know they drugged it out, but this is another TKO stuck their dick in the soup. Oba looks great now coming out of this. Looks amazing. But my man's got this was he finished the easy mode part of the game, and now he's on hard mode.
Yep.
That
And I think they did a good job telling that story on Monday on Raw too, right? Like obviously, he approaches Paul Heyman backstage, thanks him, this, that, and the third. They have a little handshake. Then there's a little stare down out in the arena with Braun Breaker. Obviously, the passing of the torch moment. This is the Oba era now. If anybody has a problem with that, well, clearly Braun Breaker has a fucking problem with
mm-hmm.
it. And that's going to
Too
be
bad Braun
fun.
looks like a bitch.
Yeah, right now he definitely does. They need to get him away from Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and his girlfriend. Austin Theory and his girlfriend and Logan Paul. Um, and I think they can insert Bronson Reed back into that without Braun Breaker and just kind of let Braun Breaker be Braun Breaker again. Um, but I don't know what they're gonna do when Bronson Reed returns, which I have to feel like is imminent, right? Like we're getting closer than ever to
He's
that.
training for that. Like he posted today,
So
like in the ring,
it's
he's
gonna all
training.
be like an interesting wrinkle. But here, what's that?
Did your power flicker? Did we see a little bleep, bleep, bleep?
Yep.
Yeah. You got to say your Wi-Fi backup
Um,
is tremendous.
but I feel well. I mean, I'm hardwired too, so there's that. I don't know, like it's just so I don't know if it's just hanging on, but it's not. It's not fun right now. I can hear the wind right outside the door over here. Uh, but I'm here for this Braun Breaker Obafemi thing. Obviously, I feel like Oba's gonna be the guy that comes out of this looking strong, looking good, um, and then yeah. So I think that the match delivered, but it still was not what it should have been, what it could have been. I told you going into this that I felt like this match needed to be particularly brutal to kind of put that final stamp on what this storyline was, and I don't know that that delivered. It was a good match. It was a
There
good
was no
match.
brutality.
I mean, the most brutality was to Brock Lesnar's knees when he hit that tombstone on the planks. Um, and people were mad at Oba for no selling the tombstone.
People suck. Like they're building the next. They have to build a final boss of wrestling, and it's Oba because it ain't Brock anymore. It's just not. Brock don't want to do it. Oba's the guy. Oba's the guy. I'm sorry because people had done this to Brock forever. Oh, what do you mean Brock beat the Undertaker? What do you mean Brock? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, you need a guy. You need a guy. Oba's the guy.
Oba is the guy.
You need a
So,
guy.
overall grade for you on night one.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I feel like it was a solid. It was a solid. This pretty decent for a night one, particularly. My expectations going in were not great because of how bad night one of WrestleMania were. But night one of SummerSlam, I thought really picked it up. They figured out what they did wrong, but they also didn't blow their load. So they gave us a solid 7
Yeah,
going in. I think that was I think that was WWE's goal, and I think they succeeded.
yeah. I mean, it definitely set the tone made me excited for SummerSlam Sunday. As to where like WrestleMania Saturday, I'm just like, ugh.
Do I even want to watch tomorrow? Yeah, I didn't feel like that.
So I do. I think that was pretty good. I could get with the 7. I could definitely get with the 7. So rolling on to night two. This was on paper the better night.
Oh yeah.
This was the golden night for sure. So we kick off the show with the number one contenders match: Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Um, the overall consensus was that Sami was going to win this match because Finn was going to be okay no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but things didn't go quite according to plan, did they?
I love that Nick Aldis shows up, inserts Kevin Owens. First of all, how excited are you that Kevin Owens? I am so fucking excited that Kevin Owens is back.
So he comes out and he inserts Gunther into this match, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, Gunther's winning this. Like, there's no fucking shot that Gunther's not winning this. You know, he gets in the ring, he does the whole thing. Finn Balor's calm, cool, and collected. Sami Zayn's losing his fucking shit. You know, and then Nick Aldis is like, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to go one-on-one with The Undertaker, player.
Uh-huh.
And fucking place went nuts, dude. I
went nuts.
I did too. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking went absolutely banana sandwich, ape shit ballistic.
I want to point out that this was 6:15 p.m., by the way.
Yes.
And I went, ha! My kids went, Dad, you okay? It was like, Kevin Owens is back. Oh my God. Look, it's 6 p.m. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then Kevin winning it.
And what was a pretty decent little fatal four-way.
It was the surprises that got us there. Kevin pinning Sammy. I feel like this is like, all right, we need to revitalize Sammy. How do we do this? Obviously with Kevin Owens. Finn Balor needs to be nowhere near the pin, so nobody calls him Pin Balor. Great. Okay, cool. And then Gunther gets screwed so that he can continue to be a dick to Nick Aldis about all of this. Everything just seems to fall into place. It all works. It all felt good. It was fan service because God, how much have we missed Kevin Owens for the last 8 months?
Dude, it's been a long year and a half without Kevin
Owens.
My
God, I'm like, when he showed up, I immediately, like, my shoulders relaxed. Like, oh, thank God. Kind of, it was like a.
It felt real good, bro. Felt real good.
Felt amazing. So,
and then for him to get the win, I think was just absolutely just chef's kiss. You know, and him and Phil, they don't really get along too well.
And so also, like, this is kind of like a dream CM Punk match because, like, Kevin Owens is going to be an asshole to CM Punk. And God, right now, I need somebody to be an asshole to CM Punk, because Punk and Cody shit the bed the night before. God, and Kevin Owens is going to be like, none of that's going to happen. In fact, he's going to pick on not only Phil, he's going to pick on Cody for that. So
And then, you know, in the post match, you know, the post show, you know, they interviewed Kevin Owens, and you know, he they asked him what he thought about CM Punk, and he goes, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what Phil thinks about Kevin Owens before Kevin Owens talks about Phil. Because there's like real life animosity there. Obviously, Kevin Owens is real life friends with the Bucks. He's real life friends with Jack Perry. You know, like all of the shit that happened, you know, in AEW. That's real life for Kevin Owens. You know, so I think that's kind of one of those things where KO's not gonna be bullied on the microphone. Not by CM Punk, not by Roman Reigns, not by Seth Rollins, not by The Rock. Kevin Owens will stand his ground on a microphone.
Kevin Owens is a bully on the microphone.
Yes.
And, like,
yes.
I'm fucking here for it. Like,
Kevin Owens is not going to be bullied in the ring. Not by CM Punk, not by Roman Reigns, not by Seth Rollins, not by The Rock. Like, Kevin Owens will stand his ground.
I'm going to poke you in the eye while he's doing it.
Kevin Owens will beat you up. He will work safe, but he will work snug. He's going to tell you about yourself. He's going to talk shit while he fucking works clean, safe, and snug. And you're gonna know that you had a match with Kevin Owens and you had a program with Kevin Owens because he's gonna bully you. I'm really, really looking forward to this, and I really, really hope that they don't fuck this up.
I don't know. I don't think Kevin Owens will let them fuck this up because like you just said, I think Kevin Owens is. I want to watch somebody bully CM Punk, and I think Kevin Owens is going to bully CM Punk for the next at least month, if not two.
I'd like to see this hit Survive. I think Survivor Series is too soon. If I'm being honest with you,
Survivor. I mean, it's November.
I think it's too soon. I really do. I think it's too soon.
I mean, I feel like I don't know. I guess we'll say November's kind of far. I feel like it's going to happen at least by Survivor Series.
So I don't. I'm super excited at the prospect of how this one plays out. Super excited that Kevin Owens is back. Cannot wait to watch this program. Um, I'm real excited for Friday night because I have a feeling that we're gonna start the show
With a
and
Kevin Owens promo because he hasn't talked yet.
They're gonna say
he just showed up.
They're gonna say welcome to SmackDown, and then you're gonna hear and the fucking place is gonna go fucking ape shit. KO is gonna come down, and he's gonna lay out the gauntlet, or CM Punk's gonna be the one that comes out, and he's gonna say whatever he's gonna say, and KO is gonna confront him.
And then Sami Zayn's gonna come out and be like, "Hold on, I just wanted to say, give me a second." I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you," but maybe he'll take a stunner. So like, that'll be great.
Yeah. So can't wait for that and what that has to offer. Moving on, we had the United States Championship match with Baron Corbin taking on the defending champion Trick Williams with Lil Yachty at his side.
I love that Corbin won. I love it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved everything about Corbin winning. Fucking love Baron Corbin. Very excited about Baron Corbin's win. I love that Baron Corbin is back. I think Baron Corbin is great. I think this was a good idea. I think this puts Trick Williams into becoming Mr. Trick Williams Money in the Bank. And I think that it puts Baron Corbin in a good position to just kind of be the sort of stalwart of the mid card, which is absolutely where he belongs. I don't think this will be a long title run for him. I wouldn't be shocked if he loses it within a couple of weeks, but probably to Carmelo Hayes, being honest. But like, I think that Baron Corbin being here and being put in this position and getting a win was, I love it. No complaints from this guy.
Nope, none here either. I'm going to be honest though. I was surprised that they did pull the trigger on the Corbin title change.
This was the first like fan service thing, at least fan service to me, kind of thing that I thought they did on WrestleMania or on SummerSlam Sunday, and I think it continued from there. But this is what I wanted to see, and it happened because it makes sense. Because now you can put Money in the Bank on Trick, and I think that's infinitely more fun than him just walking around with a fuzzy title.
I agree. And then, we move past this, and we have the Human Monies on a pole match.
The internet shit on this, but I thought it was fun. I had a good time.
It was definitely fun.
I hated the concert though. The Sunday on Friday, rather, hated that, and you could tell that Joe Hendry knew this was bullshit, as did Danhausen. They were like, "Oh, this isn't gonna. This sucks," because that sucked on Friday. But I didn't hate this. The internet hated on it a little bit, but I didn't hate this.
Yeah, it served its purpose. I think that we have closed our chapter of Danhausen and the Judgment Day. Kind of a mercy kill thing.
Especially like because it protects Dom, like because it
Hey, keep
was
this going. I have a slight issue.
okay. Like it was a little bit stupid, and I could talk about this for a little bit, but this was a little bit stupid in the sense that like one, it was a something on a pole match, which is not obviously not like anybody's favorite thing, but it was almost like a shot at that. So it's like a callback to like, hey, this is gonna suck, but it's our version of the Viagra on a pole match, which everybody has kind of already decided sucks. It's sort of the joke of wrestling. But like, so now we've put in the top heel versus the top t-shirt guy on a human monies on a pole match. Within this match, a lot of things happen because obviously the only way to win the match is to get the human monies off the pole. I say human monies because apparently there's Danhausen monies or subhuman monies, unhuman monies. Anyway, it's not particularly important what those are. But when this goes on, the match itself I thought was pretty good. Dom's a great opponent to Danhausen. They both kind of work sort of like chicken shit, sort of like finicky, weird styles that are like they both can wrestle, but like also are better at like the other wrestling esque stuff. And then we get to the mini Housens. We got mini Torinohausen, fighting off JD. I love that JD just kicked the shit out of midgets. Did you love JD kicking the shit out of midgets?
Yeah, did you know that the comedian dude, Brad Stevens, I think is his name?
Brad Williams, yes.
Brad Williams was one of the mini Housens.
He was? Did they kick
Yeah.
the shit out of Brad Williams?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got the shit kicked
I
out.
saw the week before that he wanted to be a mini Hausen. And I'm like, God, I hope JD kicked the shit out. Anyway, JD kicked the shit out of some mini Housens, which I thought was funny. And then Torino, who was like the mini Hausen prime, like, got some offense in and like ended up tossing JD, which I thought was good. And then my favorite part really was Dom climbing the rope to get the thing, and then Danhausen, because he had hit his nuts, so he was just hanging there on the top rope. He was like, "You are cursed," and then sparks flew out of the turnbuckle, and Dom took a great bump, and then Danhausen just sort of got up there and took the monies, and was it stupid? Absolutely, it was stupid.
Yo, fuck yeah.
It was, but like they leaned into it so hard. Like at no point did anybody try to like legitimize any of this. You know what I mean? Like they just fucking leaned into it.
I think that my message for wrestling fans about this match is this: chill the fuck out, okay? Wrestling is supposed to be fun. We are supposed to enjoy what is put on TV in front of us every single week. It's supposed to be an outlet. It's supposed to be a safe place, okay? It's supposed to be a place where we can all come together and we can all join hands and sing Kumbaya. All right? Calm the fuck down, okay?
And I feel like there's a distinction to be made because it's not like they're putting it as like this super hardcore match that's a death match or anything. Like we've not put anything serious on this match. Like nothing Danhausen has been serious. And so when it's a human monies, not just cash on a pole, money on a pole, human monies on a pole match, and it is silly the whole time, including the kicking the shit out of midgets. Like at no point
Can we
should
say
you
midgets in 2026?
mini Housens. I mean, that's.
God, are we gonna get canceled because you said midget?
I mean, they still have midget wrestling in Morgantown, West Virginia, like weekly. Derek is there now.
Is he?
Probably. I don't know. He's only this big. He's a little guy.
He's just a little guy. He's probably the midget champion.
He might be. That's why he hasn't been here. He's been retaining his title.
Maybe he was one of the Mini-Housens.
I would have loved that so much, but I feel like I would have recognized it.
Here, I'm going to text him.
Were you one of the Mini-Housens?
Hey, at Derek. See if that, double stands.
Maybe it makes his phone buzz because he's probably got us muted otherwise.
Yeah, probably. Were you one of the Mini-Housens at SummerSlam? The audience wants to know. Okay, I sent it. He's not going to answer it, but we can go on with our lives.
I love that I got the message.
Well, yeah, I sent it in the group chat.
I just love it.
I sent it in the group chat that you and I still use, hoping that one day he'll make his triumphant return to the show.
It's like he's fucking Jesus Christ at this point. We just hope he resurrects.
Yeah. It'll be like what, the third or fourth coming?
At least, if not, we might be 5 or 6 at this point.
Yeah. Derek, we still use the group message to communicate because we miss you, pal.
Can you please unmute us for fuck's sake?
God damn. Anywho, yeah, man, I think everybody just needs to chill out. This was fun. It was a fun little segment. It was a fun little match. It told a story. It concluded a story. Let's calm down, all right? Because much like they did on Sunday at SummerSlam, and much like we're about to do, you need to just move the fuck on, okay? And with that being said, we're going to move on to what I thought was the most amazing possible thing that could have ever happened to SummerSlam. And that's the women's 5-way ladder match for the interim women's WWE Championship.
I can't believe they did this.
With Chelsea Green versus Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair versus
Tiffany Stratton
versus
who the fuck else was
Legend.
Lash, yes.
This match was very well produced, by the way.
Who produced? Did Michael Hayes produce this?
Listen, this has not come out that Michael Hayes produced this match, but I also would not be surprised in the slightest if Michael Hayes produced this match, because Michael Hayes has produced so many top-tier ladder matches in WWE. He's been that guy for these matches. If he produced this match and he's the one that had to go through the ending to this, and if I'm being honest, the finish felt very Michael Hayes.
So, but also Michael Hayes was very against Chelsea Green ever being the world champion.
Road Dogg actually tweeted on Sunday right after the match and said, "I'm the only one that saw this for so long, and now we're finally here. Congratulations, Chelsea Green."
I hope Michael Hayes produced this too.
I do too.
Because it's poetic justice if he did. Chelsea being smashed and just hanging, because she hung there for like, honest to God, she must have had her boot, because her boots go up high. She must have had some kind of reinforcement in her boots so that she could just hang there.
She was there a good solid 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes. To just hang there 4 or 5 minutes, like she must have had some solid reinforcement in her boots.
Because the other 4 women all had, a little one-on-one at the top of the ladder while she hung there.
Yeah.
Jade and Charlotte obviously pulled themselves down, and then Tiffany and Lash, they had their little crash out on the ladder, and then boom, here comes Chelsea. Fucking
she comes like the fucking Undertaker, just like whoop, and I was just like, oh my God, I forgot she was there. right?
I did too.
Like,
And I think that was the point, right? Like we kind of forgot that she was there, and then she just. And it's like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking do it.
how were her legs not asleep? Like, she's not, like, she's 3 or 4 years younger than we are. How are her legs not, like, my legs wouldn't work for 3 days after I did that.
Buddy, my legs are asleep right now, and I'm just sitting in the chair.
Like, what the fuck?
Like,
Like, but she just whoop and then scurried up the ladder, tore it down. And I was like, I teared up. I'm choking up right now thinking about it. I teared up a little bit. I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. And
Yeah.
she Matt Cardona's in the front where she hugs Matt. I'm like, I can't even describe. This is what I was talking about the fan service that they paid on night 2. And it was just like, I'm sure it's not terribly long. Somebody's going to win Money in the Bank and cash in on her. Like, maybe the night of. But I just, the fact that this happened, this will go down as one of the greatest moments in SummerSlam history. And it was no.
I mean, I don't know that we can listen. Okay, I am just as excited about Chelsea Green winning the women's championship as you are. Okay, and I speak for a lot of smart marquee fans like you and I when I say I think all of us are happy that Chelsea Green got her chance. But I think it's a little egregious to say that this is going to go down as one of the greatest moments in SummerSlam history.
No,
Okay?
I'm right. I'm right, and I won't hear any arguments against me.
Okay. I'm just saying, Matt Cardona won the Intercontinental Championship at fucking WrestleMania and then lost.
That was mid. Night. I don't like him as much.
Yeah, his wife is super cool. I don't know, man. Super pumped. And like, I'm almost disappointed that she won because I was so looking forward to her winning the women's Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And like what was going to come. But I am so excited for what her world title reign is going to look like. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I cannot wait for her segment on Friday. I can't wait for whatever interaction she has with Nick Aldis. Hopefully by Friday they don't have her in a WWE shop title, because that shit looked fucking terrible. You know,
it was plasticky. It looked
board,
like
you know
it kind of looked like it came from Target, but that's okay.
You know, but for her to dedicate her world title win to Michael Hayes in the post show, hilarious.
Yeah.
Right. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I hope she has a really good title reign. I hope that she is the one that gets to unify the championship with Rhea Ripley, win, lose, or draw. I hope she's the one that gets to see this all the way through, because she deserves this. You know, she said it herself on the Unreal season 2. It's like, listen, I just show up and I do what's asked of me. If they want me to be covered in fucking dog food or fucking whatever, okay, sure, but let's make it make sense. And she's fucking an amazing character. Her in-ring's not terrible. Like, they've put the world title on women that have far less in-ring skill than her. That have had long, prosperous reigns, that have the personality of a cardboard box. So I'm here for it, man. Congratulations to Chelsea fucking Green. And I know that I can speak for Tom and myself. You fucking deserve it, and we hope you have a hell of a title reign.
The crowd thought so too.
Yeah,
crowd blew up for it.
Nuts, bro.
Crowd's gonna blow up on Friday when she shows up.
And if you've ever wanted to rewind to November of 2016, where we're here for you, the fans, and you want to fucking make a call back to that, this is that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chelsea Green.
Amazing. I love it. I couldn't love it more than I love. In fact, I talked myself out of them doing this. Like they're not. There's no way. We said like they're gonna put on Charlotte.
We talked about it on Saturday.
Yeah,
you know,
they're gonna put on Charlotte.
Charlotte or Jade was the safe bet. It made the most sense, you know. But we even said they have the opportunity to do the coolest fucking thing ever,
and they did it. I can't believe they did it.
I can't believe they did it.
I feel like we've said this like a dozen times within AEW too. It's like, oh, they can do the coolest thing, but they're not. They're going to do the shittest thing, and that's what AEW did, particularly with the Punk and Jungle Boy kind of thing. It's like, oh man, they could have him come back. It'd be amazing. Just let everybody bury the hatchet. Just come out and make money because it's so buzzed on the internet. Nope, they didn't do it. But WWE had the ability. They could have done it, and they were like, you know what? We got Charlotte in this match. We could put it on Charlotte, but we're gonna get all the fucking kudos for doing this. And everybody was like, abso-fucking-lutely, because Charlotte Flair was like ready to be a world champion again. Yeah. Or even Tiffany Stratton was ready to be a world champion again.
I might have thrown up in my mouth if Tiffany Stratton would have won that match.
But you know what happened? They were like, you know what? Let's put it on Chelsea, and you guys need to buy in. And everybody in that match bought into that ending. And Chelsea was like, no, I'm going to hang here. I'm going to put fucking... This is the part of Unreal that I want to watch now. Like, how did she hang there for like 5 minutes and have feeling in her legs to climb a ladder?
I think the coolest part about all of this was that the other 4 women stood in the entrance ramp and were clapping and cheering because they knew what this moment meant.
Right? Like, they were on board. Not only were they on board to like sell the shit out of everything, like, and then have us be surprised, because I was surprised. It takes a lot in wrestling to surprise me. I was surprised.
I was surprised too.
And but because they all bought in, we could be surprised. And not only that, they were all like, thank you. Like that, they were so excited. You could tell on their faces they were excited as we are. We are now. So good. And I'm still like, I'm still kind of high on it. It was really good. And again, like this is a like, oh well shit, now I gotta watch Friday. Right? Because it's like that's what Monday and Friday are after SummerSlam. It's like, well shit, now I gotta watch.
Yep. And I can't wait for that segment. Moving on, we had the co-main event, which was the Intercontinental Championship match between Penta and Minnesota's own Chad Gable. Chad Gable obviously gets the W in front of his hometown crowd in what was a pretty good little match.
Wasn't better than the Mask versus Mask, but it was great. No, it was good. The Barks root beer thing coming out.
I knew this was coming.
That was weird. First of all, did you think that Mug root beer? Did you think that was somebody else that was going to attack Chad Gable?
I did.
Because I thought it wasn't, and I was confused.
I did. I thought for sure it was somebody was going to be under there and was going to attack Chad Gable. Because especially at one point, like, you know, the mug dog was standing there and he was like, and Chad Gable like walked away from him, but then like backed up towards him.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was going to get hit.
I did too. And I was actually kind of disappointed that it didn't happen because at that point, like, you really just took what was supposed to be this really special moment for this guy's career and you turned it into a fucking commercial.
You put a real mascot out there. Like, and I feel like we're so conditioned as wrestling fans to be like, oh, that mascot is absolutely not a mascot. It's somebody there to throw a punch and set up the next thing to happen. And it wasn't. And I'm like, how fucking much did Mug Root Beer pay? Or how hurting for money? I mean, I guess so. It did come out today that TKO lost $30 million on that White House UFC event because they didn't sell tickets for it, and like people watched it, but also like it cost a fucking fortune to like put things near the White House and have security, and they had to pay for all that and all that. So it was like they lost $30 million on that. So I guess whatever mug root beer decided to pay to just have the dog come out and not actually punch Chad Gable, which seems like a missed opportunity. It is just trying to win back because WWE is clearly the cash cow of TKO because UFC seems to bleed money. Like it's their fucking
It's not
job.
what it used to be, that's for sure.
They lost $30 million despite having 30 million views for that White House event. They lost $30 million. So this is just to sort of recoup some of that to have a mug root beer thing show up, a mug root beer dog show up during Chad Gable's win, which otherwise was great. Like if you just cut the last 30 seconds, it was great.
It was a little bit of a black cloud over what was supposed to be a special moment.
Right. It was like, but why would that? We're never going to see that again. Like in all the packages to come, we're not going to see anything to do with that mug root beer dog again.
No.
But just it deflated the moment.
Yeah, and it really, really kind of just took away from what was a pretty good little piece of business. So much so that I'm willing to move on to the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins obviously stood at the top of the entrance ramp in the old Shield garb, which was a little bit of optical illusion. That was definitely a LED screen of Seth Rollins in the Shield for Seth to come out looking like the fucking Rainbow Warrior with a Shield mask on. And then, Roman comes out, max aura, bro. Like, his entrances just... I would love to be in person for one of Roman Reigns' entrance.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I mean, everything about this match felt big going in. Like the promos leading up to it, the match itself, the amount that they sort of like harkened back to Dean Ambrose, while not referring to him as John Moxley, but like just recognizing that there was a third guy, particularly with Rollins coming out with the mask, and then using the mask and having the mask at the end of the match, I thought was very non-Vince McMahon, and that I think that's the best way to put it, because Vince would have thought the Dean Ambrose character particularly would have been dead to the Shield and would have been dead to all of this, but Triple H leaned into it because Dean Ambrose was all over this. He was all over the promo packages. He was all over all the pre-stuff. I'm pretty sure he was even mentioned in promos a couple of times when Me, You, and Ambrose came down as the Shield 14 years ago. It was a sort of harken back to like, we're not doing revisionist history here. We are telling history the way it was. This is what happened. This is how it worked. We were three guys, and now it's just you and me. And we have hated each other for a long time. And we need to finish this. We need to bury this hatchet. And even the chair stuff, where they both had the opportunity to put a chair in the other's back, and they didn't, because they wanted to finish it.
Well, I mean, Roman saw Seth coming.
Yeah.
I think, and Roman is really the one that had the opportunity and passed on it. But I think that was very powerful callback. It was a very powerful moment in the story.
It felt like, so had those two moments not happened, I felt like Seth needed to win so that they could do it again. But if they were going to finish it here, which is clearly what they did, the way they finished it, I felt like was right. It was if you're only going to do it once, which is what they decided. We're only doing this once. We are finishing it right now. And you and I went on record saying, well, God, 6 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever it was, hey, keep Seth away from Roman for a while, and vice versa. And they did that. But the collision course obviously happens. It's been years.
I feel like it had to happen too.
Yeah. And if you're going to end it in a one match kind of build up, this is the way to do it. And they ended it. And I loved that. I got chills. I get chills thinking about it now. After Roman had won, because it wasn't a particularly brutal match by any sense of anybody's imagination. I mean, they traded finishers for a while. They even used some Dean Ambrose finishers that the clothesline he used with he would dump out of the ring and kind of come back in, and the double arm DDT. It's not the Death Rider's different now. What did he call it in WWE?
Dirty Deeds.
The Dirty Deeds. They use the Dirty Deeds. They both used it, I think.
Well, Seth went for it and Roman hit it.
Okay, yeah. And so it was a very I appreciated all of that, because as a fan, this is another thing. They're paying to fan service. If you've only been a fan post-pandemic, post Dean Ambrose leaving, post you only know Monday Night Messiah, you only know the Bloodline Roman Reigns. You weren't really around for the Shield. You don't understand all of that. You don't understand what Dean Ambrose was. You don't see Lunatic Fringe and all that stuff going in. To call back to all that is really fan service. And they were really look, you guys have hung on, for 14 years. So we're going to pay that all back to you. And, they did it both in vignettes. They did it in promos. They did it in the sort of packages. And then they did it in the match. And the match itself was this was the best match they could have had. And I felt like it delivered on every front. It wasn't particularly a work rate match, I don't think, and nobody expected it to be, I don't think. And I think the beauty of these guys is Seth can have a work rate match, and so can Roman to a degree. But they didn't, and they both had this sort of cinematic, these guys need to get this over with. And then when they were done, Roman put the fist out. Seth put the mask in front of him, Dean's mask. He put the fist out, and that was it. The close of the show. This is the end of the era. This is it. We're done. This is the end of the era in the same way Shawn Michaels and Undertaker was end of the era. And that's it. And it's maybe they call back to it. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Maybe they team up at some point. Maybe they have a little, some interactions. But this is it. It's over. They can all go. Everybody goes their separate ways from here. And I think this is what needed to happen. I don't think they could have done a better job.
No, not at all. I think that everything about this, it was... This was the romantic storytelling of the Shield, right? This was the conclusion of everything that we've ever known when it comes to the Shield and these two guys. And I think that this is one of those things that, as long as Roman's the champion, Seth is never going to sniff that again.
No. And honestly, I don't know. I think Seth goes away for a little while. I think that's been teased. Becky being back, I think puts Seth back at home with their daughter for a little while at least. It's hard. Look, it seems to be hard to keep Seth away for any period of time if he's not hurt. So I'm sure he'll be back sooner rather than later. He wasn't on Raw, but I do think that we'll see Seth sooner rather than later. But I think that it'll keep him kind of away for a little while. He'll stay at home for a little bit, and we'll see where it goes from here for him. But I think that was kind of the idea. And obviously, I guess Roman's sticking around because he's still the champ. So we kind of thought, well, Roman's probably going to take a break. Looks like Seth's going to take a break, and Roman's going to hold the reins, and pun intended, and go from there.
Oh yeah. So grade for night 2.
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I thought.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, A plus. I thought it was great. I don't think that there was a miss for me in night 2. I thought the misses came in night 1. I understand the internet was disappointed in the Human Money's on a Pole match. I wasn't. This was I was disappointed in the Friday segment, but I felt like redeemed itself. So no, I thought this was as good as it could have been. I thought they got all the points that were on the board. I thought they achieved. I didn't think there was a bad match to be had there, and I liked it. I loved it. I want some more of it now. I mean, and we got a little more of it on Monday.
So overall, your 10 and your 7 puts you at like an 8.5 for the weekend.
Yeah. Let's give it an 8.5, which I think is probably the highest ranking 2-night main event, 2-night pay-per-view that we've had. I think this was probably the best one. I think it's a lot to put a big pay-per-view over 2 nights. I think this was the best effort they've put forth. I think this is the bar to strive for.
I thought it was great. I think probably 8.5, 9 is probably where it needs to be for the weekend. I did. I thought it was a really, really good weekend. Even Friday wasn't terrible. I obviously haven't watched Raw cover to cover, but I do know, the ins and outs and the happenings. But I think this was a very strong 4-day stretch for WWE, and really looking forward to what they're going to do as they build towards the end of the year into the Royal Rumble, and then we're back on the road to WrestleMania.
Well, the Royal Rumble happens at like 2 p.m. in Saudi Arabia. Or no, that was last year. It's in America this year.
WrestleMania's in Saudi Arabia this year.
Oh, well, that's gonna suck. But the Rumble has potential.
It's in Arizona. I think they announced it this past weekend.
Well, I mean, so it's still. I mean, it actually might happen maybe at like 7:00. That'd be great.
So, and then really just one more piece to kind of catch up on from Monday, and it bled a little bit into Tuesday if you were to believe the fan theory. Big Cass made his long-awaited WWE return and attacked Javon Evans, kind of putting himself smack dab in the middle of that Intercontinental title picture. What's your feelings on Big Cass coming back to WWE?
I miss Enzo. I wanted Enzo. That's all I could think about. Like, Big Cass looks great. The guy's clearly defeated his demons. He had a pretty good AEW run, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Even that shit he did with Jericho in the Learning Tree was pretty good for him.
He was the highlight of that. Like that. The Learning Tree sucked, but he was the highlight as Big Bill. So I'm not opposed to Big Cass being back at all. I think he earned his spot. I think he looked good. I think Javon Evans is a great person to have a feud with Big Cass. But in the back, Big Cass was like, Javon Evans is just the stardom here to take heads, which I guess is good. It's all very good. I kind of expected that nostalgia pop with him and Enzo, but I think he's going to get the run that he hoped to have under Vince when he kicked that midget with Daniel Bryan. However long ago that was, 2018, 2019.
Yeah, it's been
forever.
A while.
It's been a long time.
there's a fan theory going around because I guess on Tuesday on NXT, Robert Stone was seen talking to somebody on the phone, and the internet belief is that Robert Stone was talking to Enzo Amore.
I mean, I would like to see Enzo come back. I really would. I think that Enzo makes, even if we only see that as like a one or two off, like bada bing, bada boom, realest guys in the room kind of thing. Um, I would like to see that. I feel like that there's something to do with that, especially if they want to do at some point, and maybe they want to have Cass establish himself as a main event kind of guy and keep them apart from Enzo. Uh, but I think there's somewhere to come back with that, especially with the Tongans out here. I think that them just beating people up is going to be.
Well, the belief amongst the dirt sheets, in the IWC is that WWE in 2027 is going to invest heavily into their tag team division, which is where this rumor of Enzo and Cass even coming back to WWE started in the first place. And obviously, we got the payoff with Big Cass being there, but we didn't get the payoff all the way because we only got Cass. We didn't get Enzo also. So I think it's something to keep your eye on. I definitely think it's something to keep our eye on. But looking forward to see what they do with Big Cass in that situation. I wasn't particularly blown away
It
by the
was
TikTok that I saw, but
yeah.
I also haven't watched the show yet, so my
It's
opinion on
the
it.
TikTok you saw was probably the extent of it. It's not. It's fine. It'll develop from here, but I think us knowing it was Big Cass was coming back, like it being advertised like this doesn't shock anybody. This isn't a big like oh god, he kicked the shit out of a like mid card guy who's on the rise, and he's going to be a mid card guy, and we're going to enter this. And I think there's a lot going on in the mid card on Raw with Javon Evans and with Ethan Page and with Rusev and now Big Cass. I think there's a lot going on there, and I think that this makes Raw interesting. It continues to make this interesting and inject some interesting stuff in the mid card there. But at this point now, I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm going to watch. I'm here for it, but this isn't the payoff I'm here for yet. But I'm not disinterested. So I think that's where we are with that. But I think there was actually two bigger returns that were kind of given, they weren't advertised. So we didn't know what was happening. And I think that was both Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vaquer coming back. And I think that really went from like, what was kind of a like, we had talked about it earlier with it being sort of like that WWE Women's Championship, particularly on Raw. And we're just like, they had a better match, but like we just saw this match, and it's like, well, where do they even go from here? This is kind of bullshit. And then out comes Becky Lynch to, point it at Raquel, who I think has been doing good work. And I was glad she won the Intercontinental title. But like, also kind of have a little face off with Liv Morgan as well. And then Stephanie Vaquer coming out as well. Thank God she's back, because she's one of those people that also her absence is notable. I felt like her absence is like Rhea Ripley's absence is like a black hole on SmackDown, but like Stephanie Vaquer's absence has also been like not necessarily as big, but like 70% as big. It's been a big deal to not have her around because it's kind of sucked without her. And they've done what they can to kind of get everybody else in position to do that, especially like the big stars and the people, but like they haven't like had the balls to build new stars as far as like maybe building out a Jordan Grace or even moving Julia or something like that. They haven't had the balls to do that. These like sort of untested stars. So to have two big time tested stars back, I feel like is a really big deal. But it also kind of gives me pause to be like, God, like, what do they do with Jordan Grace? What do they do with like, I know Friday's coming up and like there's more things to go on, and like you need some opponents for Chelsea Green that maybe she can beat, like kind of, with a roll up or something like that. But it's like there's other people that I want to see, so I'm hoping to get a new injection in SmackDown to like have something special happen there. But at the same time, like to have this happen on Raw and have Stephanie Vicaire come back and have Becky Lynch be back is kind of a big deal, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, I think post SummerSlam the landscape looks good. Really excited to see where we go towards the end of the year. This was a good little show, man. To end the summer, and I'm really looking forward to what's going to be put in front of us moving forward. So I guess it's just time to buckle up and see where we go from here.
I feel like if everybody gets healthy and WWE gets rolling like hard, especially Kevin Owens is back, Becky Lynch is back, Stephanie Vicaire is back. They got Big Cass on the roster. Brock the specter of Brock Lesnar is gone, right? And I feel like that was kind of a thing. The specter of John Cena is gone. Sure, you've got Randy, but like you've got sort of Cody Rhodes kind of pulled out of the Cody's the champion, but you've got Cody kind of pulled out of that now. And I know they want to put CM Punk on, like he's kind of the hanging Chad to all this. They want to like kind of put him on that like retirement run to where he gets to fight people that like are sort of CM Punk dream matches. Some of those are going to be disappointing. Cody Rhodes clearly was, to me anyway, kind of a disappointing CM Punk match. And I know that was a thing that like people wanted to see. There's going to be others, and I think they're going to kind of do that, but I can't imagine Phil hanging out for more than another year. So while you kind of watch people sort of like ride off into the sunset, so to speak, I think that there's a lot of exciting guys coming back to be big parts of what WWE's sort of been missing. Things that have felt hollow, sort of kind of going into WrestleMania and post WrestleMania. At some point, Rhea Ripley is going to be healthy again, hopefully, and hopefully she can do something meaningful once that happens. Oh, fun fact. So on Friday, Motionless in White dropped a new album, and there is a tribute track to Rhea Ripley on that album, which may or may not be her new entrance music when she comes back. It does start, "This is my brutality." It's God, what's the name of the song? Hold on. 2 seconds. This is pertinent wrestling information. This may be breaking news, or at least breaking rumor. And you heard it here first, because this may be Rhea Ripley's newest entrance song. It is "Fight Like Hell" by Motionless in White. It is their tribute to Rhea Ripley, but it does start out. Hold on, I can play it. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. We can do this. Here we go. This might come through sounding like shit. Tell me if it's the worst thing you've ever heard. So we're gonna give it a shot here. How bad's that? This is my brutality! Anyway, hopefully that doesn't sound like shit, but that's
good.
That's the first like 8 seconds. That's their tribute to Rhea Ripley. That might be her new entrance theme. So if it is, you heard it here first.
Good. Good shit. All right, Bob. Well, we're at the tail end of this. I think we just got one thing left, and that is the internet famous One Fall WrestleCast match of the week.
Okay, so I mean, so obviously my match of the week is Seth versus Roman. Like this has kind of been a building for forever. And like I couldn't have been more ready for this. I've been into this like since it was announced. And I just thought they delivered on everything. And it was sort of that like it was that big match feel that really did it. It was Seth's entrance with the mask. It was the finish with Roman throwing out the fist to kind of, finally do that final Shield fist bump. And it was everything in between, them sort of like trading each other's finishers, them throwing in Dean Ambrose's like signature moves in the middle of that. It really kind of like over delivered. I felt like going into like they could have phoned this in. This could have sucked. This could have been what Punk versus versus Cody was. It could have been underwhelming and underbaked and kind of bullshit. But it wasn't. It was everything it needed to be, and then a little bit more on top of that. And I feel like that's really what it needed to be. And I feel like this is why these two guys, it created for me that contrast, right? Of like, these guys are top fucking guys. Whereas Cody and Punk, I've always thought that Punk was overrated. You can go back, watch the show, fucking 3 million hours of Walt and I talking about this. I've always thought that Punk was overrated. I've never been the biggest Cody fan. They went out there and phoned it in, kind of laid a stinker. Not to, maybe Punk actually did shit himself. Who knows? But Roman and Seth went out there, and not only did they deliver, but like expectations were already high, and they somehow exceeded them. And I think that like that's what makes a guy. That's a superstar level caliber. Those guys are so far beyond Cody and Punk. They are so much further into the stratosphere. And I don't think this was just like a pure luck kind of like, oh, well, thank God they pulled it off. It was a like, no, this is what these guys have been doing for the last decade. And, they've done it with lesser opponents, and, they got in there together as, two titans of the industry. And they just, not only they slammed home runs for like, would this go 30, 35 minutes? They just slammed home runs out of the park for 35 minutes.
So yeah, it was great. It was great. No arguments. Total great story. Like I said, it was the romantic ending to the story book that was the Shield. It was great. It was great. And you're not going to get any argument out of me, but I think on the flip side of things, we have to recognize that WWE did the coolest thing ever, and they put the women's championship on Chelsea Green. So that's my match of the week, just simply because they did something that everybody wanted, everybody was clamoring for, and nobody thought was going to happen. And I mean, the match itself was actually very, very well put together. So
it was great.
That for me is it. That's my match of the week. So, hey,
shout out to Lash. Lash Legend carried the shit out of that match.
It was good.
She was fucking awesome.
It was great. It was great. But hey, if you're still hanging out with us, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe even consider subscribing. We would greatly appreciate it. You can check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. And as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. No, we won't, because I'm taking my son camping on Monday.
2 weeks.
Sure.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you next time. One for WrestleCast. I told you Derek wasn't going to answer me, bro.